To those of you complaining that we need to organize election in Burkina Faso, what is your problem? Burkina Faso people, they're not complaining. They're happy. Which election you talking about? Who do you want to vote? Do you have anybody in mind? Who? So we need to organize election to vote. No, we don't need election. What we need is Ibrahim Traoré right now. Ibrahim Traoré is going nowhere. He can even stay in power 20 years, 40 years. Nobody will complain. We are not complaining. We're happy. Ibrahim Traoré is going nowhere because he's getting the job done. What he has done in 2 years. Some people are in power 40 years, 20 years. They haven't even done half of what he did. And you talking about election? Are you okay? No, we're gonna use the election money to develop the country, to develop Burkina Faso. We are not complaining. We're happy. No, we don't want election.
Ibrahim Traoré is a true definition of a leader. Ibrahim Traoré removed the electoral body, the electoral commission, INEC, that body that used to conduct election. Ibrahim Traoré scrapped it. Said there is no need because it's just a waste of money. It is a waste of money because after wasting that money, they will still be compromised. They will still not do the wish of the people. They will still not follow what the people want. Some of these presidents in Africa were selected. They were not elected. They were selected by INEC, not what the people want. So you see, Ibrahim Traoré, you are the best in this Africa.
It needs to be heavily funded anytime they want to conduct elections. And even with that, they don't conduct a free and fair elections. So now that they have been dissolved, costs will be saved indeed. President Ibrahim Traoré made this move to limit foreign influence over election processes. If you have observed, foreigners always interfere with elections in Africa anytime elections are being conducted. What do you think they are doing there? They are making sure that the next leader that will come into power in this African country can be their puppet and help them achieve their interests. That's why the citizens of those African countries don't always get the leaders they want to be in power. That is why in a country like Nigeria, the citizens have been crying for INEC reform, but the government is not giving a listening ear. They are not trying to reform INEC because they like an unfree and unfair election. And INEC is helping them achieve this in the interest of their puppet masters. This move that President Ibrahim Traoré has made is a reform. It's a crime to well-meaning Africans that they cannot get the leader they want to be in power because of a stranger. INEC is the weapon fashioned against well-meaning African citizens. That's why they need to be dissolved. Since the government has refused to reform INEC, you know what to do. The Ministry of Interior in Burkina Faso will now be responsible to oversee electoral processes. And President Ibrahim Traoré will remain in power till 2029. Burkina Base, I hope you heard, 2029. I'm sure you don't like that. You know what to do to ensure that President Ibrahim Traoré stays in power after 2029. Because I don't see any person that can do the job that President Ibrahim Traoré is doing right now.
Proposal made or a proposal coming from the Ministry of Territorial Administration and Mobility. Now, the Minister of State, Emile Zebo, explained that this decision is part of the ongoing reform, and this reform is to strengthen the state and to reduce government spending. He noted that one of the reasons why they are taking this step is that the Electoral Commission, which is now being dissolved, received close to 500 million CFA francs, that is approximately $820,000 in annual funding. And according to him, this is excessive under the current transitional government framework because the country is going through a lot already. Giving you that money yearly is useless, first of all, to begin with. Now, this is what the minister said. Let me quote him. He said, let me concentrate a little bit on my screen. He said, the continued existence of the Electoral Commission contradicts the principles line in the transition charter and put a strain on the national budget. That money can build schools. That money can do a lot of things. You understand? So now, what is the new bill doing, family? The new bill, according to the update, will transfer all electoral responsibility to the Ministry of Territorial Administration. And this ministry had managed elections in the past before this electoral commission was created. This was the former institutions that was handling the voting process or electoral processes in Burkina Faso before this new one was created. And this new one was created and the hand of the Western influence is in there. And this is manipulative. The reason why this was created is because the territorial administration refused to be manipulated, which is the reason why the job was taken from them and this one was created so that it can be manipulated smoothly. And now there are new rules and regulations governing Burkina Faso, and everything must fall within the line to rebuild Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is under construction. Nobody have to determine to Captain Ibrahim Traoré or the Burkinabe people which governance system they should adopt. They can decide that we are going the Russian way or the Chinese way or the North Korean way. Before I tell you other things that went on at the meeting, look around yourself, lovely people, and tell me, look at the countries that are developed. These are countries that have long-standing leadership. Of course, in Africa, we have some people who are rock of ages and they are not doing anything. But developed countries have this pattern. A man with a vision must lead the country. Everybody cannot lead the nation. So, lovely people, this is what happened. The role was taken from the Electoral Commission, given to the former institutions that was handling this process at first, before Electoral Commission was, initiated. So, it was nothing bad that is done. This is what we can call factory reset. So I can say this is part of the reset agenda of Captain Ibrahim Traoré or the government of Burkina Faso. And these decisions were not taken solidly by Burkina Faso's leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. No, this was proposed by the Ministry of Territorial Administration and Mobility. It is this ministry that said, look, this thing is wasting our money. We need to take the thing back to the original. This setting is not going to help us. It's just going to waste our money. Of course, the one we are giving it to right now has handled it before very well. So why not give it back and then save all the costs so that this money can be used for the benefit of the people? Now, let me tell you details of other things that went on. Higher education sector reforms also happened. Not only this bill was at the table that day, the council did not only approve this bill, lovely people, they also approved new decrees under the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation. These decrees update the internal structure and policy of Team Republic universities and research institutions in Burkina Faso. Now, according to the professor in charge of the Ministry of Higher Education, he stated that this particular reform was based on recommendation from the 25th General Assembly of State Institutions. State institutions came together and made this decision on their 25th meeting. And this meeting, they called for a review of institutional guidelines. And these changes aim to, first of all, improve organization and management of higher education institutions, address differences between institutional policies, support better job integration for graduates. It is going to promote entrepreneurship and professional training in schools. Additionally, integrating professionalism and entrepreneurship into academic programs. All these things were at the meeting, but BBC cannot speak about it. All these decisions were made, but BBC only picked this one because that is where their interest is. If they speak about the rest, it will mean that Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing a good job. Let us push him to look like somebody who is hungry for power. That is BBC and other Western media. So this is just a decision made in Burkina Faso, reflecting a drive for institutional reforms, cost-cutting and better governance in Burkina Faso. The proposed dissolution of the Electoral Commission and the restructuring of higher education institutions, these are key steps in aligning the nation's system with the goal of the transitional government. Nothing wrong is being done. Burkina Faso is still on the right track.
So Ibrahim Traoré has closed the last way in which France was spying on Burkina Faso. He has deleted, he has completely disbanded the electoral system in Burkina Faso, the Western electoral system. And he has said, this is a waste of money, this is a waste of resources, this is a waste of precious resources that could have been used in something else. So this is what he said. During an election, there is a lot of NGOs. These NGOs are paid to oversee the elections. And there are electoral devices that are bought in France to carry out the process of election. So this is France making a lot of money from African nations in the name of elections. Then there are so many people who are employed to do this job, and the country loses billions of money. Ibrahim Traoré has said enough is enough. We cannot continue adopting this Western nations way of elections, and yet we are using a lot of money which we could have diverted it into another thing.
He has said an internal system is to be made on how elections is going to be done in Burkina Faso, and there will be an election in 2029.
Burkina Faso used to spend around $500 million CFA, that's the France CFA, on elections. That is around 800,000 USD, or let's just say 1 million USD. So Captain Ibrahim Traoré said that is expensive, hence this electoral commission has to be dissolved. Also, it influences foreign interference. I think we already know how the West and America, have been manipulating or getting involved in elections in Africa. I can even make examples like Kenya. We are mutual the election that happened in Kenya before William Ruto became president. Another example is the recent election of Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is another example. Nana Addo of Ghana, second tenor. We also know the unaliving that happened and all of that. Sierra Leone president, the second tenor of the Sierra Leone president, Julius Maada Bio. So all these things, we already know they always want to put in puppets that will protect their imperialist interests in Africa. But now the question is, what do you think? Does this move infringe the civil rights of the Burkinabe people to vote? Or this is in total sovereignty? In my opinion, I think this is in total sovereignty because it is Burkina Faso affairs. So the Burkinabe people have to decide how to manage their affairs. That includes political and economic affairs. Also, not long ago when Ibrahim Traoré wanted to step down, the people of Burkina Faso said, no, we want him to continue staying in power. So it is their country and they have to decide how to manage their affairs.
If Captain Ibrahim Traoré considers elections in Burkina Faso, it will mean there will be a chance of him losing his seat to another person. This is not what Captain Ibrahim Traoré wants. However much he may want to be a good president who works for his people of Burkina Faso. So, I don't know, this might be of a good cause whereby Captain Ibrahim Traoré might be wanting to extend his time for working for the people of Burkina Faso. And in other way, it can also turn into something else and the dictatorship becomes a negative outcome. So dictatorship has two ways. It can bring about negative results or positive results. If a dictator works to ensure people's well-being, that dictatorship is good. And if a dictator is just oppressing people, then that dictatorship is not good. I expected this because where dictatorship is coming ahead, actually foreign interferers are first sent out of the country, and this is what happened in Burkina Faso. I don't know what to say. Should we say Kongs to Burkina Faso? Should we say what? I don't know. I don't know what the people of Burkina Faso want. We're yet to listen from the Burkina base themselves. But at the moment, no democracy in Burkina Faso. It might be of a good reason or not. We shall see. Black Korea.
Ibrahim Traoré has just dissolved. He just removed the electoral body from existence. He said they are spending unnecessary money. And we all know during election time in Africa how these electoral bodies spend money. Their budget is not funny. And the funny part is that they actually have the foreign influence, so that this electoral body will put their puppet or the person they want in power. Sometimes in Africa, you actually wonder, the person we actually vote for, we believe we vote for, is not the one that they will give the power at the end of the day. Because this body is just like the ECOWAS, is something the West has already bought. And Ibrahim Traoré dissolving this one, it's another great milestone for Burkina Faso. According to rumor, Ibrahim Traoré is trying to build also a prison for the politicians that are embezzling money. There is this mechanism that African leaders don't have, you know, for like they have to pay you good salary, and after your presidency, they will make sure you have been taken care of to avoid misusing public fund. But this part of the governance, the African leaders don't have it, and this is the part where Ibrahim Traoré has come in. He's trying to put this mechanism in place, but African leaders, they prefer the public fund to themselves, their own salary to themselves. any contract, any mineral deal, the money to themselves. That money will be just stay in the bank where it is very useless. No one will benefit from it unless them. And the mechanism in place also, Ibrahim Traoré, there is a body, there are many bureaus that he will open to look at the president. You know, after your presidency, they will investigate you to look if your property and your salary, your budget is actually correspond to during the time you are serving in power. If it doesn't correspond, well, according to if the prison is true, then he's going there. And also, if you are a candidate, you know, all those to go and spend money lavishing, you buy a bag of rice, vote for me, that is done. It is done. No more spending. Your ideas, your dreams, is your work is what will talk for you. You have to come to the people, give your ideas and give your manifesto. If they vote you in, all those manifesto that you have said, you have to realize them, or else after your presidency you are going to prison. If this mechanism is in place, I tell you for free, it's very difficult for you to see any president to embezzle money. They have anti-corruption, which is more corrupt than the people they are going after, because they don't actually put the mechanism in place. They are just opening bureaus, you know, to employ themselves to continue stealing the country. It is what it is. Tell me what you think, but personally, I believe it's the best thing Ibrahim Traoré is doing for the Burkinabés. We all know those who support him actually want good, know that the guy is actually doing the good thing.
Captain Ibrahim Traoré just deserve the body responsible for election. He says it's too expensive to maintain, and to avoid interferences from foreign countries, and also to have zero tolerance for subsequent election, that it will be controlled internally by internal body. In order for them to curb the corruption and to have sovereignty and total control of their election, he needed to reform the electoral system. So he dissolved it. Do you agree with this? How many countries do we have in Africa that you truly believe they need to dissolve their electoral commission? Some people call theirs INEC. Some people may call something some other form of names. But if the system is no longer serving the purpose and is incurring so much debt, wasting so much money that could have been used to build the country, develop the country and build the people, what's the purpose of keeping a system, a department that is no longer functional and serving the purpose? Do you agree with this move? Do you support this move? Listen, we are working into this new Africa, that anything that does not serve the purpose, that does not work in alignment with the new African, the new vision, and serve the masses, get dissolved, get removed, get uprooted. And this is exactly the direction we're going. Some big announcement is coming. I told you guys earlier, but I'm going to wait.
President Traoré is standing up. He is saying the natural resources in Burkina Faso, they belong to the people of Burkina Faso. Niger is doing the same thing. Mali is doing the same thing. Every leader must look at what's happening in the Sahel nations to say, like anybody else, you must take care of your people. You have your natural resources. You have everything you need to take care of your people? Why do you continue to be beggars? Look at what is being brought in by not only USAID, but all the NGOs in your country. It's
Ibrahim Traoré just did is unplugging everything. The last arm that France had on Burkina Faso, the last thing that the Western leaders, the Western countries had on Burkina Faso, now they cannot spy on Burkina Faso. And this is why they are panicking. And this is why the Western media, they are panicking because they don't know exactly what they are going to do. This is why they're calling him all sort of names, saying that he is a dictator and he doesn't want people to vote. And this is why he dissolved this. But Ibrahim Traoré said this: if there is any election in the future, internal system is the one that is going to solve this. Yes, that is going to be voting in future until 2029. That is the time that people, they are supposed to vote. But if there is any, internal system is the one that is going to solve this. But for now, electoral system is a waste of money.
Welcome back to Gist Line. Now, we've heard what these people have to say, and it's obvious that Ibrahim Traoré just made a bold step that's shaking the whole of West Africa. He has officially banned elections in the country for now. Just take that for now in quotes. But before you panic or scream dictator, let's talk about why he did it and why some people think it's actually a smart move. Traoré didn't just wake up and cancel elections for fun. The man is dealing with serious insecurity, constant terrorist attacks, and a broken political system that hasn't helped his administration in any way for years. His reasons: we can't talk about voting when people can't even walk safely to their farms or schools. And honestly, he's got a point. Think about it. What's the use of an election if most of the country is under threat from armed groups? Election in chaos only empower the rich and the corrupt, not the poor villagers who are hiding from bullets every day. Traoré is saying security first, politics later. And in a country where politicians have failed over and over again, many people are actually relieved that someone is putting the people's survival ahead of campaign posters. Now, let's be real. Banning elections sounds scary, yeah? But Burkina Faso needs stability, not slogans. The West keeps shouting about democracy, but where were they when terrorists were killing farmers and burning villages? Traoré is refusing to play that game. He's focusing on arming local communities, reclaiming land from terrorists, and building real independence, not just changing faces in office. And guess what? Many young people in Burkina Faso are behind him. They don't want another round of fake promises and empty democracy. They want roads, security, food, and freedom from foreign control. The money they are spending on election is a lot, and instead of investing that money in something else, these people are just so focused on election because of what they stand to gain. But I think Ibrahim Traoré's eye has opened, and that is why he's insisting, and he has put a ban on election. And if delaying elections is what it takes to get that done, so be it. So, do you think Traoré is a dictator, or is he just doing what weak civilian governments refuse to do for decades, which is protecting the people before playing policies and investing the money into something good that will help the country? So let me know what you think in the comment section. And are you okay? If you are okay with Traoré's decision, or do you think he's a step too far? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
They enjoy saying it every year in their economic surveys. Burkina Faso is the poorest country, Mali is the poorest country, Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well, if we are as poor as they say, but when the time came to take responsibility, we asked these masters to leave. Why don't they want to leave? When we take the case of Niger, for over 40 years, some countries have been exploiting uranium to produce energy for themselves. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are lit up. That's the light. But in Niger, it's darkness that is served to us. When you go to our states, our lands are riddled with holes, everywhere in search of precious metals like gold, but often there isn't even the slightest accessible road to reach the areas where they exploit gold, let alone some basic social services. That's why we decided to revolt and take the destiny of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples. But when we decided to do so, well, we were approached by some armchair slaves to deliver the message of their master, because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the head of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain. And it's inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to fall in line, to become part of the elite that must lead Africa. Because they have a trained and conditioned elite that they must follow, who are embedded in that chain. We refused Paofat to fall in line with them. And from then on, hostilities began. They have infiltrated our areas with several mercenaries, trainers. Agents have descended into the Sahel, hoping to carry out barbaric, cowardly attacks against our populations, hoping to incite them to revolt. In addition to these on-the-ground attacks, communication attacks, manipulation, and disinformation are rampant in their ranks. But the people of the Sahel have understood, and never again will they be manipulated. They know where they come from, they know what they are doing, and they know where they are going. We will no longer allow this. People are awake and fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations. And thank you all for the fight that is being waged. This never makes us cry. We will not tremble. We will face it. We will fight for true independence, for our freedom. Because to scare the people of AS, these individuals only have 3 terms in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights. Of course, their local lackeys are only elected in a democratic, free, and transparent process, according to them, their values. What could be more normal? That they want to impose this on us, because they are the ones who set the rules. Very well, we have decided to take responsibility for ourselves. That's why on July 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the armchair slaves and their masters got on their high horses. They put their local lackeys forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people. So we said, anyone who dares to attack Niger will face us, because we will wage a relentless war to the last drop of blood against anyone who dares to attack our states. This statement, this decision we made yesterday is relevant today and will be relevant tomorrow and forever. Thus, the AES was born on September 16th, 2023, within a framework of mutual defense. But we deemed it necessary to extend and expand the architecture of the AES. What brings us together today should allow us to venture into other areas beyond defense, notably finance and economy, infrastructure, health, education, and so on. I hope that these moments will be a story we write for the AES, but especially for Africa and the entire world. May God enlighten each and every one of us. May God inspire us in these tasks entrusted to us. And above all, when we carry out our work, let us keep one thing in mind: the supreme interest of our populations. With that, we pray once again to the good Lord to accompany us all in our various tasks, to protect our fighters, who, thanks to them, allow us to sit here and discuss the future of our states. Once again, thank you, people of Niger. Be united and in solidarity, people of the AES, the homeland or death.